So let's get started. So I welcome everybody. John, you want to say a word before we
Sure.
dive in?
I sure do. Well, first of all, I'd like to thank Jeff Goldman and Brad Schrum for being part of our group. This all started a few months back here for everybody to understand that one of our members, the Tricor group, has researched cyber insurance and felt that the folks at Wingman Cyber Insurance really offered them the best opportunity. I do think that you're going to see through their presentation here and then stuff that'll follow up in the future. They have a very nice program. And one of the things that's becoming aware to a lot of us, and I don't want to take any of your thunder away from you, Jeff or Brad, but a lot of agencies are starting to, with all insurance renewals and new quotes, they're actually giving an option for cyber insurance. And so Bart over at Tricor felt it was really important that we talk to these folks, and so they are a new member of the group. They will also be at our fall meeting at the Kalahari, which is all lights go for right now. We don't see any. We're hoping that's not going to be any issues. But from there, I'd like to introduce Jeff and Brad. One thing I want to remind everybody is
Okay, well, thank you very much, John. Welcome everybody. So a couple of ground rules. We're going to try to keep everybody unmuted. So you can just ask questions along the way if something comes up, or you can use the chat feature and write us a question. If you need to talk or whatever, please mute yourself so we don't get a lot of extraneous noise, or we'll have to go to a mute. So who is Wingman, first of all? What we are is we are an insurtech company. So we are in the insurance world, but we're a technology company. We are licensed as an insurance agency in all 50 states, but we do not compete with you. We choose not to sell insurance. Our sole purpose is to support all of our agencies and users on our platform. We've been in business since 2005, and the platform we're going to show you.
Okay, took care of it.
you guys.
I muted everybody, so we're all set. I thought I did. There we go. Jeff, you there? Jeff?
Mute. Okay.
All right, go ahead. Everybody.
Muted me also, Brad. But,
no, I'm not.
Anyway, so we've been in business since 2005. There's 4 years of, 4 years. Whoops. Sorry about that. 4 years we've been on the street and with our platform, and we've been growing like weeds. We've been doubling minimally each year our agencies and users. So we have hundreds of users, agencies, and thousands of users. Most of our concentration has been on the east and west coast, and in the south, in Texas, Louisiana, around there. We do not have a tremendous amount of exposure in the Midwest or the upper Midwest. And so it's wide open territory for all of you. We're very proud. I mean, it was a big badge of honor that we were selected by the Image, Wisconsin to be your official cyber. And we also have been endorsed provider for the IIAT, which is the Texas Big I and the Big I of Maryland. So what I'm going to do now is take you over to, hold on 1 second, a little technical stuff. Take you over to our platform. What you're looking at is our intellectual property. This is what we've developed. This is what we're in year 4 on. And I'm going to show you how easy it is to rate, quote, bind, direct bill, A-rated cyber in under 2 minutes. We work with Access Insurance. Like I said, they're A-rated and they're admitted in 48 states, all states with the only exceptions of Vermont and Hawaii. They're pretty much the third largest provider of cyber in the world. So they're no slouch. So first thing to see is these 3 dots on the bottom left of your screen. When you click on there, you can chat with one of our underwriters. If you have questions about how to use the platforms, how to re-rate, anything, just click on there and ask, or you will have Brad's and my contact information, and you can ask there. First, we're going to go to tools, this yellow circle here. If I click on there, we have lots of options. We have videos, including this a demo of the platform in video form. Marketing tools. Now, this is a very important thing about Wingman. We have no need, no desire to brand ourselves to your customers. We believe that you should brand your agency to your customers. So whenever we communicate through the platform, quotes, binds, so on, everything comes from you, not from us, or at least it appears that way. If you click on this link down here, we have all sorts of marketing materials that you can make your own. You notice you can download them in PDF or in Word and take our logo off, take our contact information off, and put your own on. We have declination letters, all sorts of materials for you. Okay, specimen docs. So you can write 2 types of cyber with this platform. Standard cyber, and then for technology companies, tech E&O with cyber. What you do is click, find your state. There we go. And you can now download a specimen doc. Production report. You can see all of the production of everybody in your agency, all the quotes and binds and so on. The most important section of the tools is this, claims and resources. So we're going to start over here with the data breach event hotline. Now here's how I'd like you to think about this as a, how to position this. Most of your customers, they have attorneys on retainer if they run into a problem, if they have a legal question. Well, the data breach event hotline is kind of the same thing for cyber. If your customer even thinks they have a data breach, then they're instructed in the policy before they call you to call the data breach event hotline. And who they'll be talking to is an attorney that specializes in data breaches and will help you determine if you've had a data breach, and if you have, then next steps. In our opinion, the cost of the premium on the policy alone is worth having that data breach coach. If you need to report a claim, here's how you report it. Now, we believe in education at Wingman. We do ongoing education, but we also have plenty of education built into the platform. Here's the Access eRisk Hub. What you'll do is once you become appointed, you use this 1, 2, 3, 4 steps to get a login. And in there, what you're going to find is just a myriad of information about data breach. There'll be general information. You can find state-specific information. You can find industry specific information. There's a calculator in there to help you determine how much coverage your customers should have. Finally, cyber risk aware. This is for your customers. These are learning modules of best practices on how to prevent a data breach in the first place. Okay, this color wheel up here will always get you back to the home screen. Next, we're going to go to the red circle, new. Green side on the left, techie and up. Blue side on the right, cyber. See this little arrow right here? If I click on it, you have two options. The first one, you would click on there, you just need your customer's, the individual's name and their email address, and you can send them an application to fill out. Maximum of 5 questions. When they're done, they hit return. It doesn't come to us. It goes directly back to you for you to act on. Real simple. Get custom cyberlink. This is a great feature for our platform. Every single user will have a unique URL hyperlink. If I click on it, it will send an application. However, the way to use this is a little different. You could create a button to put on your website. Is your business protected against a data breach? Get a quick quote right here. Click now. And it'll send them an application. You could do the same thing for your email signature. But if you really want to do something interesting, you can use this for prospecting for new customers. How do you do that? Well, if you do social media, you know, Twitter, Facebook, LinkedIn, whatever, you could report on a semi-regular basis data breaches that are going on in your state, in Wisconsin, and which are public information when there's a data breach. And you can say, you know, this business in Milwaukee, you know, had a ransomware attack, blah, blah, blah. And then you could use this hyperlink to create a button that says, once again, is your business protected? Get a quick quote by clicking here. Okay, next is, what if you want to quote somebody? And we're going to do a sample quote over the phone, or like in the good old days when you could be in front of a customer on your laptop. So we click here, and I'm going to make up a name. We'll use John. John, WI Insurance, just to have a unique name. We'll say this business has $2 million in revenue. Now notice, when I start typing an address, it will start to look it up and fill it in for you. And then I go to next. And this is where you get the business classifications. With our platform, you can quote every single business classification in the country with the sole exception of cannabis. So we can offer cannabis cyber, but we can't do it through the platform. So sometimes it's very apparent how to classify a business. Sometimes it may not be so obvious. If you're not sure, go to this blue button, Other, and then just type in what they are. And when it comes up, save, it classifies it for you. If it's still you're not sure, Click on the three dots and ask one of our underwriters how to classify the business. So for the sake of this demo, I'm going to do a doctor's office. And the reason I'm going to do a doctor's office is think about the exposure they have. They have those HIPAA records, they take credit cards, all sorts of things. Okay, so I click on healthcare and go to next. And here's our rating questions. You see there aren't many of them. Okay, well, let's say instead of a doctor's office, a landscaping company. They probably don't have healthcare records. Skip it. Don't even answer. Don't know what a healthcare record is? Mouse over here, and we'll give you examples. Well, our doctor's clearly going to have healthcare records, but I can assure you they're probably in a doctor out there or an office manager of a doctor's office that has a clue how many healthcare records or information records they have. With us, it doesn't matter because all we ask is very broad ranges. You can see 0 to 100, 100 to 1,000,000. And let's say you get it wrong. It happens. Well, we've never had a policy audited by Access out of the tens of thousands of policies we've done over the years. If you're way off, the artificial intelligence within the platform will then question it. If the revenue is insanely high and the number of records is low, would be an example. Okay, we're going to say we have less than 100,000. Personal information records, same ranges. We're going to say because all their records are healthcare records, we'll just say they have it for their own employees. Most doctors' offices today take credit cards. So we'll say they do take payment cards. Okay, we're going to say they take less, they're level 4 merchant, they take 20,000 or less transactions annually. Now this question is, are you or your credit card processing vendor PCI compliant? Some of you probably don't know what PCI compliant is. Not a problem. Just mouse over and here's an explanation. It is a security standard for payment industry. Now I can assure you that about 99.9% is the answer is yes, because nowadays they're all compliant. Next, last question. Have you had a breach in the last 3 years? If the answer is yes, that does not mean an automatic declination. We will ask a couple more questions. If the answer is no, we are done. You now have a bindable quote for $1, $2, and $3 million of coverage. This is not an indication. We do not need a wet signature. This is a bindable quote. These quotes are good for any business that has 100 million in revenue or less. Okay, well, you may occasionally find a company that wants 10 million or 20 million in cyber coverage. Or you might find a company that has 120 million in revenue or half a billion in revenue. We see it. Not a problem. You haven't wasted your time. You come down here, request additional limits. So there's a supplemental application that's not that long. It's about 8 pages, not really difficult to fill out, that you'll be asked to do. And then that will go directly to when you hit submit, it will go directly to an Access underwriter. When they have the quote ready for you, you will get an email saying the quote is now ready and available to you in the platform. You can go in the platform, send it off to your client, and bind the policy. Okay, now I'm going to have Brad go through a quote letter for you. Brad? all
Yeah,
yours.
thanks, Jeff. I'm Brad Schramm. I'm the Chief Underwriting Officer for Wingman. Good to meet everyone and hopefully get the opportunity to work with you. I'm going to take you through the quote letter. You'll see up here, first of all, the Wingman Cyber logo. That will not show up. It will have your logo on the left-hand side. And you'll see it gives you all the information. Jeff, if you'd scroll down a little bit. You see it, as Jeff said, it's Access Insurance A15. You'll also notice that the retro date is all prior acts. So there is no retro date, okay? So coming down further, you're seeing that we offer automatically cyber terrorism coverage, and there's no additional charge. So now we're going to get into the policy. I'll tell you the policy retention is an aggregate retention, so you can never exceed that retention in any one policy year. And it is an aggregate limit as well. We are offering third-party and first-party coverages. You will notice the third-party coverages here, which is enterprise security, PCI, and privacy regulations. Now, what's interesting about this is in the liability area, about 90 to 95% of losses 5 years ago were third party, where a hacker stole information about your clients, etc. We've noticed and seen that the trend is only about 25% of the claims today are third party. The majority of losses that we see today are first party, and I'll take you through those. We offer crisis management and fraud in public relations. And you'll see below extortion and ransomware. They are two different things. A lot of people get caught up in extortion and ransomware. Extortion is the threat of something happening, where ransomware, it has happened. Ransomware is the #1 frequency and severity of losses. We're seeing a tremendous amount of ransomware claims, and I'm sure that either your customers or maybe you personally or professionally have been ransomware.
Why don't you explain what ransomware is, Brad, real quick?
Ransomware is the act of someone gets in your computer and says, we're going to shut you down unless you give us $50,000. So you get that little black skull and basically threatening you and telling you that unless you pay us in Bitcoin in the next 48 hours, we're gonna get rid of all your files. Okay. Then we have website media and reputational harm. So let's suppose you have, let's suppose you're a doctor's office and you've been ransomware and it gets all over the news. And now nobody wants to come to your doctor's office, retail store, whatever it may be. You're going to lose business. This policy will pay for that loss of business. Another important term that not a lot of people have heard of is bricking. And to make it very simple, what bricking is, it's a malicious act by a hacker where they really don't want money. What they do is they come into your system or in your computer and decide that they're going to shut it down. So they shut down your computer, you try to turn it on, you don't see any physical damage to your computer. What they've done is they've fried your motherboard or have done something to shut it down. You can't turn it on or you can't turn on your phone. What we say is your computer, your desktop, or your phone has now become a brick and you can throw it out the window. So what this coverage does, it replaces the hardware that has been damaged, maliciously damaged by that hacker. We're also providing social engineering. If you're not familiar with social engineering, it is the #2 cause of losses out there from a frequency and severity perspective. It's basically what we call trickery coverage. You, the insured, have been tricked into paying someone money that you thought was your vendor, someone you knew, but it's not. It's a hacker. It doesn't matter how small or big you are. These hackers know more about your business than you do. They're very good at writing emails from your CFO saying, please send this vendor, this trash company or whatever, $50,000, you send it. And next thing you know, you've been social engineered. We also provide invoice manipulation. We call this quote unquote reverse social engineering. Basically what that means is you are the insured. Let's just take your insurance agency. Your customer gets a bill for insurance that has your logo and has your invoice on it. They pay $10,000 to who they think is you, but it's not. They've just paid a hacker. So your client is now out $10,000. You're out $10,000. You've got a client very unhappy with you. Likely you're not going to get your money. What this coverage does is pay you to make you whole, and your client is whole as well. This is definitely an up and coming peril or loss that we've seen, and we're also providing that coverage. We also provide telecommunications theft loss. This is where a hacker gets into your phone plans and decides they want to call all around the world. We've seen losses of this nature. So once you've had the first party loss, now what about the business income claim? What you're going to notice here is we have 4 categories. We have business interruption of service disruption, failure, systems disruption, and system failure. Now, this is first and third party business income. You will notice the waiting period is only 6 hours, which is very, very short. So this business income will pay for a cyber event, and also it will pay for a very clearly non-cyber event. And I'll give you that example. You have a client, or let's take your insurance agency, you're upgrading your software or your systems, and there is a disruption, not due to a cyber event, but due to a glitch in the software you've downloaded, and you're down and out for the next 8, 10, 12, 2 days, 4 days, whatever it may be. There is coverage for that. So what's unique about this is it's just not cyber. It also will cover non-cyber events for business income. Okay? And then we also provide coverage for data recovery expense. So this is to recover your data to get it back up and running. And that gives you a highlight of the coverages. Jeff?
Thank you, Brad.
Yeah.
One thing on coverage, we choose to make it everything that we do as simple as possible, meaning that we don't make it like a Chinese menu where it's pick, 2 from column A, 3 from column C. We give a robust coverage at a aggressive rate, so your customers are well covered. Let's say it's now you want to bind the policy. So our average bind is 1.25 million. So meaning that most of the small to medium-sized business customers by year one, $1 million. So we see 2, 3, and more than that, but most buy $1 million in the first year. Okay, when you're ready to bind, you highlight, you click on it, you notice it glows, and that the purchase coverage button activates. Okay, you can still change your mind right here. Now, one thing we do that's unique is, what if you want to line all your policies for your customer and you don't want to wait for them to get covered for cyber?
12 o'clock.
Not a problem. Not a problem at all. Click here, say, I want to re-rate this for 10 months and 14 days, and we can re-rate it. So we can do as short as 6 months, as long as 18 months. As you can see here, you can have your customer pay annually, quarterly, or monthly. One nice feature, we do not, I repeat, do not charge a service fee for quarterly and monthly. So whatever is convenient for your customer. Then you'll fill out some more information. We direct bill for you. Your customer will think it's coming from your agency, or have your agency logo and so on, but we take care of the direct bill. They have the choice to pay by ACH or by credit card. If they choose credit card, there is a 2% service fee pass through. We do not make money on that. It's just a pass through. Your customer has 30 days to pay the invoice. They do not have coverage until they pay. However, once they pay, it does go back to the original effective date. Once they pay, within 1 minute, the policy, which is the binder, remember we have no signature at all, the policy is the binder, lands in your email box for you, not us, for you to deliver to your customer. So what about paying you? We pay on the 10th of the month commissions for all the binds the previous month. We pay you via ACH. We pay you 15% new and 15% renewal. So that, in a nutshell, is Wingman. When it's time for renewal, we're about to truly automate this, but the policy the way right now is you'll start getting letters 30 days out. I'm sorry, 90 days out, and we'll know if your customers had a data breach. If they have, we'll deal with that. If not, the only other information we need is an update on revenue, an update on records, and bam, the policy renews. We make it so easy that that we have about a 95% renewal rates. Okay, so why now focus on monoline cyber?
Jeff, we have a question.
Please.
Who is ultimately responsible for collecting the premium, agent or you or the carrier? Well, we direct bill everything, so we take care of that for you. We send out reminders, every few days. If the client or the insured does not pay, we will definitely get you involved in that process. I hope that answers the question.
Okay, so why is this? So we believe this is the best time ever to sell cyber, because work from home has changed everything. There's just in April alone, there was 142% increase in cyber attacks for small to medium-sized businesses. So, but why? Okay, well, one problem is you're on your home Wi-Fi, where you have your Alexa hooked up, and your kid has his Xbox, and you got your Nest thermostat, and you got your Roomba, iRobot, you got your, million devices. So the question becomes, what's covered? And this is a really important question that you need to ask any cyber provider, because there's two different scenarios. One, if you're working from home but using your work computer and you have a data breach, or you're working from Starbucks or wherever, is that covered? The second one is, well, what if you're working from home but using your personal computer for business? That is something called BYOD, which is bring your own device. The answer in our case is both are covered. There's a special endorsement for BYOD on our policies now that we do not charge any extra for. A lot of big carriers do not cover that. I mentioned BOPs and before, but let me just say, if they're free coverage for your customer, there's a reason they're free. As Brad talked about, it used to be that most coverages, most breaches were third party. That's what BOPs tend to cover, but now 75% of breaches, cyber attacks, are first party. So, and if they cover ransomware, usually it's limited to 50,000 max, and the average right now is about 88,000. So they're insufficiently covered.
Jeff, if I could also, Jeff, if I also add, our minimum premium is about what, $505 to start?
Right.
Yep.
And by the way, since Brad's talking about that, Axis rates insurance agencies with a special discount, and it's about half the normal price because they want to make sure that all of their agencies have coverage. So even if you just write for your own agent, write your own agency's policies, is worthwhile. Okay, I'm almost done. This is the last slide. Best practices. This is based on what we have seen having many agencies and talking to many agencies. Offer cyber to 100% of your customers. Every business has exposure. What you're probably going to see is about a 30 to 35% uptake. So offer it to everybody. Educate your customer. We have ongoing education for you. We have materials and the tools for you. Keep your customer educated. This is something we believe in. Not everybody does, but use a declination letter if your customer declines cyber. There's two reasons for it. One, it's a good selling tool, but more importantly, it protects your E&O. And I'm going to give you a real world example of that from one of our agents. We have an agent in Washington, D.C. has a customer who's an attorney. The attorney calls him, the agent, while the agent's driving in his car. Said, the attorney says, "Did you hear that I had a data breach?" And the agent said, "I did hear that." And the attorney goes, "Am I covered?" And the agent goes, "No." And then the attorney goes, "You never offered me the insurance, cyber insurance." And the agent said, "Yes, I did." And then the attorney, being an attorney, particularly a DC attorney, said, "Prove it." So you know what's coming. I mean, this is an E&O claim, no question. And the agent said, who got nervous, he said he was very nervous, but he said, "Wait till I get back to the office." When he got back to the office, he found the declination letter, emailed it to the attorney, didn't hear another peep from him about it. This is the best time also to get appointed because 7/1s are around the corner. So now is the time to get appointed. There's plenty of time left to get your customers signed up for cyber because you saw how easy it is. Okay, we're going to open the floor for a Q&A now. Any questions? Well, do we have any other questions? Okay, so what we're gonna do.
The one question that we get, what are our what production goals do we have?
Okay, I'll answer that, is that we do not have traditional production goals. All we ask is that if you're gonna get appointed with us, just do something with it. You know, go out there and get quotes and work to get some binds, and we'll leave you alone. You know, so you know, don't worry about it. Even if you quote yourself, your own agency. So I'm going to be sending you this presentation and the recording a little later. If you are ready to get appointed, there's my email. Just send me a quick email saying you want to do this, and we'll get, and what I will do, send me the legal name of your agency, and the onboarding is all automated. You'll get an email back from us with what we need. And all we need is you to sign an agreement. We'll fill out a W-9. We'll need just your P&C license for Wisconsin, not individual license. Your deck page for your E&O policy, and your logo, and how many users you want. You'll upload that, and probably in 24 to 48 hours, you can start quoting cyber. Any other last minute questions before we end this? Well, we hope you have found this useful and see how easy this all is. And we look forward, Brad and I look forward to meeting all of you hopefully in September, assuming the virus doesn't come back, raging back. And we're very excited to be working with all you. Well, thank you very much, and we'll be in touch.
Jeff, John has a question.
John, go ahead.
John,
Can you hear me okay?
yes, sorry about that. Yep.
Guys, again, I'd just like to thank you for your time. And to everybody out there yet, we will have another session, as you know, next week, Thursday, the 25th at 10:30. So please include your staff and your coworkers, because we'd like to get a few more out there. We had a good representation today, and we'd like even more next week. So if anybody has any more questions also for me, they can certainly call me. So thank you, guys. We'll be in touch next week then too.
Appreciate it.